The motel room door stood slightly open, and through that gap, Natalie watched her husband Tyler pressed against another woman, their mouths locked together like they were drowning and each other was air. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the 3 men in leather jackets standing just 10 feet away from her in the parking lot, loading black duffel bags into a van, bags that clinked with the sound of metal and something else she didn't want to identify. One of them looked up. Their eyes met. Her heart stopped. She'd come here to surprise Tyler, who'd said he was at a conference across town. Her best friend Monique had seen his car at the Sunset Motel and called her immediately. Natalie had driven over in disbelief, thinking Monique must be wrong. But Monique was never wrong. Now Natalie stood frozen in the shadows, caught between her cheating husband and what looked like very dangerous men who just noticed her watching them. The tallest man with the scarred face nudged his companion and pointed at her. They started walking her direction. "Don't move," a deep voice said behind her. Natalie jumped, spinning around to find herself face to face with a massive man in a Hell's Angels vest. His gray beard was long, his arms covered in tattoos, but his eyes were surprisingly kind. "You're in danger," he said quietly. "Those men in the parking lot, they're not people you want noticing you. When I put my arm around you, laugh like I said something funny. Pretend I'm your dad. Do it now." The men were getting closer. Natalie's survival instinct kicked in. She forced a laugh, though it came out shaky, and let the biker put his arm around her shoulders. "That's my girl," he said loudly. "Your mom's gonna love that story. Come on, let's get you home before it gets too late." He steered her toward a motorcycle parked nearby. The men in the parking lot slowed, watching them. One pulled out a phone. "We need to go now," the biker muttered. "Can you ride?" "I don't know, I've never." "You're about to learn. Get on behind me and hold tight." Natalie's legs shook as she climbed onto the motorcycle. Through the motel window, she could still see Tyler with that woman, completely unaware his wife was outside. Completely unaware of anything but his own selfish pleasure. The biker started the engine. It roared to life, louder than thunder. "What's your name?" he called over his shoulder. "Natalie." "I'm Gabriel." "Hold on, Natalie. We're getting you out of here." They shot forward just as the men broke into a run. Gabriel navigated through back streets expertly, the bike weaving through traffic until they were far from the motel. He finally slowed down near a busy coffee shop and pulled into the parking lot. Natalie climbed off the bike, her whole body shaking. Adrenaline and shock warred inside her. She'd almost been caught by criminals. Her husband was cheating. Nothing made sense. "You okay?" Gabriel asked, studying her face. "No," Natalie said honestly. "I'm really not okay." "You want to tell me what you were doing at that motel?" The words spilled out before she could stop them. "Following my husband. My friend saw his car there. He said he was at a business conference. But he was with her. With some woman. In that room." Gabriel's expression hardened. "And you saw those men loading their van. What were they doing?" "Nothing you need to worry about now. But they might have thought you were police or a witness to something you shouldn't have seen. That's why we had to leave." Natalie's phone buzzed. Tyler's name flashed on the screen. She stared at it, not answering. "That him?" Gabriel asked. She nodded. "Don't answer. Not yet. First, you need to think about what you're going to do next." "I don't know what to do," Natalie whispered. "We've been married 8 years. We have a house, shared accounts, a whole life together. And he's throwing it away," Gabriel said bluntly. "Question is, what are you going to do about it?" Natalie looked at the stranger, this biker who just saved her from something dangerous, and felt something shift inside her. The shock was wearing off. In its place came something colder, sharper. "I'm not going to forgive him," she said. "I know that much." "You shouldn't. A man who cheats doesn't respect you. And respect is everything." "Did someone cheat on you?" The question came out before Natalie could think better of it. Gabriel's jaw tightened. "Yeah. Long time ago. My ex-wife. Took half my stuff and ran off with my former best friend. Left me with nothing but debt and a broken heart." "What did you do?" "Rebuilt. Took years, but I rebuilt everything. Better than before. That's the only revenge that matters, Natalie. Living well. Being happy. Showing them they didn't break you." Natalie's phone buzzed again. "Tyler." Then a text. "Where are you? Thought you were working late?" She felt sick. He was lying even now, pretending he'd been somewhere else. "Can I give you some advice?" Gabriel asked. "Please. Don't confront him yet. Don't let him know you know. Men like that, they'll try to flip it on you, make you feel crazy, or they'll hide assets and prepare for the divorce before you do. You need to be smart. Strategic. I don't know how to be strategic. I'm a bookkeeper. I balance accounts. I don't do this. Gabriel smiled slightly. You balance accounts? Then you know exactly how to do this. You're going to document everything. Every lie, every penny, every text message. You're going to build a case so tight he can't wiggle out of it. And then you're going to take him for everything he's worth. Something sparked in Natalie's chest. Not quite hope, but something close. Determination. Why are you helping me? She asked. Because I wish someone had helped my sister when her husband cheated. By the time she figured out how to leave him, he'd hidden everything and she got nothing. Watching her struggle nearly killed me. So now, when I see someone in your situation, I help if I can. Natalie wiped her eyes, surprised to find tears there. Thank you, Gabriel. Don't thank me yet. This is going to be hard. But I promise you, on the other side of this, you're going to be free. Really free. And that's worth everything. Her phone buzzed again. Tyler calling. Answer it, Gabriel said. Act normal. Tell him you were at the grocery store or with a friend. Don't let him suspect anything. Natalie took a deep breath and answered. Hey, sorry, I was shopping. Didn't hear my phone. What's up? Tyler's voice was smooth, casual, completely normal. Just checking in. Conference is running long. I'll probably be home around 10. Don't wait up if you're tired. Okay, Natalie said, her voice steady despite the rage building inside her. See you later. She hung up. Gabriel nodded with approval. Good. That's how you do it. Now let's get you home safely. Tomorrow we start planning. As Natalie climbed back onto the motorcycle, she looked back toward where the motel stood in the distance. Tyler was still there with that woman, thinking he'd gotten away with it. Thinking Natalie was naive and trusting. He had no idea what was coming. And that, Natalie realized, was going to be her greatest advantage. The next morning, Natalie sat in her kitchen staring at Tyler across the table. He looked the same as always, sipping his coffee, scrolling through his phone, completely relaxed. How could he sit there so calmly after what he'd done? You okay? Tyler asked, not looking up. You seem quiet. Just tired, Natalie lied. Didn't sleep well. Yeah, me neither. These conferences always wear me out. He stood, kissed the top of her head like he did every morning, and grabbed his briefcase. Love you. See you tonight. The words felt like acid. Natalie forced a smile. See you tonight. The moment his car pulled out of the driveway, she pulled out the business card Gabriel had given her the night before. Just a phone number, nothing else. She dialed. Natalie, Gabriel answered immediately. How you holding up? I almost threw a coffee mug at his head this morning. But you didn't? That's good. Shows control. Can we meet? I need to figure out what to do next. Coffee shop on Maple Street, 20 minutes. The one with the blue awning. When Natalie arrived, Gabriel was already there, sitting at a corner table with a laptop open in front of him. Without his leather vest, dressed in a plain black shirt and jeans, he looked less intimidating. Almost normal. I'm surprised you have a laptop, Natalie said, sitting down. Gabriel chuckled. What, you thought bikers can't use computers? I run a custom motorcycle shop. These days everything's digital. Inventory, orders, finances. I'm better at spreadsheets than most accountants. Despite everything, Natalie felt herself smile a little. Now, Gabriel said, turning serious. Let's talk about your situation. You're a bookkeeper, right? Where do you work? I work from home, freelance. I have about 15 small business clients. Perfect. That means flexible schedule, your own income. Does Tyler know how much you make? Not exactly. We have separate accounts for our businesses and a joint account for household expenses. Even better. First thing you need to do is check every account, every asset. Make sure you know exactly what you have together and what he has separately. Natalie pulled out her own laptop. I can access all our joint accounts. But his business account, I don't have login information for that. Do you file taxes together? Yes. Then you have a right to see those records. Pull up your last 3 years of tax returns. We're going to trace every dollar. For the next 2 hours, Gabriel walked Natalie through the financial investigation. She discovered Tyler's business account had significantly more money than she'd thought. She found credit card statements she'd never seen before, restaurants and hotels charged on dates when he'd supposedly been working late. Look at this, Natalie said, her stomach turning. Valentine's Day last year. He told me he had to work. But there's a charge here for a restaurant downtown, and another for a hotel. The same hotel where I saw him yesterday. He's been doing this a while then, Gabriel said quietly. I'm sorry, Natalie. She blinked back tears. How could I be so stupid? You're not stupid. You trusted him. That's not stupidity, that's being a decent person. He's the one who's wrong, not you. Natalie took screenshots of everything, saved files to a secure cloud account Gabriel helped her set up. Evidence. Proof. Ammunition for when the time came. There's something else you need to do, Gabriel said. Find out who she is. The woman he's with. Why does that matter? Because you need to know if she knows about you. Some women don't know the guy is married. But if she does know, if she's knowingly sleeping with your husband, then she's complicit. Either way, you need the full picture. Natalie's phone buzzed. A text from Tyler, might be late again tonight. Big client meeting. She showed Gabriel the message. He's seeing her again, Gabriel said. Want to know for sure? How? We follow him. That evening, Natalie sat in Gabriel's truck parked across the street from Tyler's office building. She felt ridiculous, like a character in a movie, but Gabriel had insisted. She needed to see the pattern, understand his routine. At 6:30, Tyler emerged from the building. But he wasn't alone. A woman walked beside him, laughing at something he'd said. She was young, probably late 20s, with perfectly styled hair and expensive clothes. They walked to Tyler's car together. That's her, Natalie whispered. That's the woman from the motel. Gabriel took several photos with his phone as Tyler and the woman drove away. He followed at a safe distance. They didn't go to the motel this time. Instead, they went to an upscale restaurant downtown. Bold, Gabriel muttered. Taking her somewhere public like that. He doesn't think anyone will see him, Natalie said bitterly. He thinks I'm at home, trusting him, waiting for him like a good little wife. They watched through the restaurant window as Tyler and the woman ordered wine, held hands across the table, acted like a couple. Like they had every right to be together. Do you know her? Gabriel asked. No. I've never seen her before last night. Let me make a call. Gabriel dialed someone, spoke quietly for a moment, then hung up. Friend of mine has connections. He can find out who she is, where she works, if she's married herself. Is that legal? It's public information. We're not hacking anything. Just doing research. 20 minutes later, Gabriel's phone buzzed. He read the message and showed it to Natalie. Amber Patterson, 29 years old. Works at the same company as Tyler in the marketing department. Single, no kids. Lives in an apartment on the east side. She works with him, Natalie said, the realization hitting hard. He sees her every day. All those late nights, those business trips. How long has this been happening? We'll find out. But right now you need to go home. Act normal. Don't confront him. Not yet. Natalie's hands were shaking. I don't know if I can do this. Pretend everything's fine. Gabriel turned to look at her directly. Listen to me. I know this hurts. I know you want to scream at him, throw things, make him feel the pain you're feeling. But if you do that now, he'll lawyer up, he'll hide money, he'll make this divorce as difficult as possible. You need to be smarter than your emotions right now. My emotions want to burn his stuff on the lawn. I know. And later, when you're free and successful and happy, you'll be glad you didn't. Trust me on this. Natalie took a deep breath. Okay, I'll go home. I'll act normal. But Gabriel, I can't do this alone. Will you help me through this whole thing? Already planned on it, Gabriel said. My number's programmed in your phone now. You call me anytime, day or night. When you're ready to talk to a lawyer, I know a good one. When you're ready to move out, I've got friends who'll help. You're not alone anymore, Natalie. I promise you that. For the first time since her world had fallen apart, Natalie felt like maybe she could survive this. Not just survive, but come out stronger. Thank you, she said quietly. Don't thank me. Just promise me something. What? Promise me you won't settle for less than you deserve. Not in this divorce, not ever again. You deserve someone who's going to be faithful, honest, and treat you like you're the most important person in their world. Tyler isn't that person. But someone out there is. Natalie nodded, wiping her eyes. I promise. That night, when Tyler came home at 11, smelling like perfume that wasn't hers, Natalie was on the couch reading a book. She looked up and smiled. How was your meeting? She asked. Exhausting, Tyler said, kissing her forehead. But productive. I'm going to grab a shower and head to bed. Okay. Good night. As she listened to the shower running, Natalie opened her laptop and added more notes to the file Gabriel had helped her create. Date, time, location. The restaurant. Amber Patterson's name. The perfume smell. Every detail was a nail in the coffin of their marriage. And Natalie was going to make sure that coffin was sealed tight. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks of Natalie playing the perfect wife while systematically documenting every lie, every late night, every suspicious charge on their credit cards. 2 weeks of meeting Gabriel at the coffee shop, building their case like detectives on a mission. "You're getting good at this," Gabriel said one afternoon, reviewing Natalie's latest findings. "Look at this organization. Dates, times, locations, photographs. Even financial discrepancies highlighted and cross-referenced. Turns out bookkeeping skills transfer well to tracking a cheating husband," Natalie said dryly. She'd discovered so much more than just the affair. Tyler had opened a separate credit card she didn't know about. He'd taken out a loan against his business without telling her. He'd been transferring money into a private account for months. "He's planning to leave you," Gabriel said, pointing at the pattern of transfers. "Look at this. Every month like clockwork. He's been building a nest egg. So he can run off with Amber and leave me with nothing. Except he made a mistake. You found it first. Now you're going to make sure that doesn't happen." Gabriel's friend, a tech-savvy guy named Jerome who ran a computer repair shop, had helped them set up monitoring software on the home computer. Nothing illegal, just tracking what Tyler did on their shared device. The discoveries had been devastating. Emails to Amber going back 8 months. Intimate messages, plans for a future together. Tyler had promised Amber he'd leave Natalie soon. He just needed to set things up financially first. "He was going to blindside me," Natalie said, reading through the messages for the 10th time. "Just serve me papers and leave me with nothing." "But he's not going to because you're 3 steps ahead of him," Gabriel reminded her. Natalie had already done what Gabriel suggested. She'd opened her own bank account at a different bank and had quietly started moving her freelance income there instead of into the joint account. She'd gathered copies of all important documents, titles, deeds, insurance policies, storing them in a safe deposit box Tyler didn't know about. She'd photographed every valuable item in the house, documented the contents of their storage unit, and created an inventory of everything they owned together. Tyler had no idea she was preparing for war. "I met with the lawyer you recommended," Natalie said. "Patricia Wu. She's intense." "Patricia's the best divorce attorney in the state," Gabriel said. "Ruthless when she needs to be." "What did she say?" "She said I have a strong case. The affair is documented, the financial deception is clear, and because we live in a fault state, his adultery matters. She thinks I can get the house, half his business assets, and alimony." "Good. That's what you deserve." Natalie's phone buzzed. A text from her friend Monique. "Lunch tomorrow? Need to catch up. Feels like I haven't seen you in forever." Natalie had been avoiding her friends, not ready to tell them what was happening. But she couldn't hide forever. "I need to tell my friends soon," she said. "Monique keeps asking if everything's okay. Are you ready for that?" "I don't know. Once I tell people, it becomes real in a different way. Right now, only you know. It's like it's happening in this separate bubble." Gabriel nodded, understanding. "But when you're ready to pull the trigger, you'll need support. Real support, not just an old biker you met in a parking lot." "You're more than that now," Natalie said honestly. "You've been the best friend I could have asked for through this. Just paying forward what I wish someone had done for my sister." They continued working through the documents. Gabriel had taught Natalie how to trace Tyler's business expenses, how to identify personal charges disguised as business costs. Together, they'd found thousands of dollars Tyler had spent on Amber. Jewelry, trips, expensive dinners, all written off as client entertainment. "Patricia can use all of this," Natalie said. "Every fraudulent business expense, every hidden account. He's going to lose so much." "He already lost the most important thing," Gabriel said. "You. He just doesn't know it yet." That night, Natalie lay awake next to Tyler, watching him sleep peacefully and felt nothing. No love, no anger, just cold indifference. The man she'd married was gone, replaced by the stranger who lied so easily. Her phone lit up with a text from Gabriel. "You doing okay?" She typed back quietly, "Yeah. Just ready for this to be over. Soon." Another week of documentation, then Patricia files. Then you're free. The next morning, Tyler was particularly chipper at breakfast. "Got some news," he said, grinning. "That big promotion I've been hoping for? Looks like it might come through. Vice President of Sales. Means a significant raise." Natalie smiled, playing her part. "That's wonderful, honey. You've worked so hard for this." "Yeah, and the timing's perfect. I was thinking we could finally take that trip to Hawaii we've been talking about. Maybe next month." Everything in Natalie wanted to laugh at the absurdity. He was planning a vacation with her while sleeping with Amber. Or maybe he was planning to use the vacation as a cover to end things, serve her papers somewhere she'd be too shocked and isolated to fight back properly. That sounds nice, she said instead. Let me check my client's schedule. After Tyler left for work, Natalie called Gabriel immediately. He just told me he's getting promoted. Vice President of Sales. And he wants to take me to Hawaii next month. Do not go on that trip, Gabriel said firmly. That's when he's planning to end things. Trust me. Men don't suddenly plan romantic getaways in the middle of affairs unless they're planning something. What should I do? Tell Patricia. Move up the timeline. If he's getting a promotion, that changes his income level. You need to file before that promotion becomes official, or the alimony calculations change. Natalie's heart raced. So we're doing this now? Yeah. It's time. You've got everything you need. More than enough. Patricia can file papers this week if you're ready. I'm ready, Natalie said, and she meant it. I'm so ready to be done with this. Good. Call Patricia today. Set up a meeting. We're going to end this the right way. That afternoon, sitting in Patricia Wu's office, Natalie signed the papers that would change her life. Patricia had assembled everything into a comprehensive filing that laid out Tyler's adultery, financial deception, and hidden assets. This is one of the strongest cases I've seen in years, Patricia said. Your documentation is exceptional. When we serve him these papers, he's not going to have a leg to stand on. When will that happen? I recommend doing it at his office. Public, professional, witnesses present. It sends a message that you're serious and you're not afraid. His office, Natalie repeated. In front of everyone. In front of everyone, including his mistress if she's there that day. Show them both you're not the naive wife they think you are. Gabriel was waiting for Natalie outside the law office. How do you feel? He asked. Terrified. Excited. Angry. Relieved. All of it at once. That's normal. You're about to reclaim your life. That's a big deal. What if he tries to fight back? What if he makes this ugly? Then Patricia destroys him in court. But honestly, Natalie, with the evidence you have, the best thing he can do is settle quickly and quietly. Fighting will only cost him more money and more embarrassment. 3 days later, Patricia called. Everything's ready. Papers are being served tomorrow at 2 p.m. Are you prepared? Natalie looked around the house she'd shared with Tyler for 5 years. She'd already started packing her most important belongings, moving them quietly to a storage unit Gabriel had helped her rent. She'd transferred the maximum amount allowed from their joint account into her private account. She'd changed her direct deposit information so her freelance income would no longer touch their shared finances. She was ready. Yes, she told Patricia. I'm prepared. Let's do this. That night was the last night Natalie would spend under the same roof as Tyler. Tomorrow everything would change. Tomorrow Tyler would learn that the biggest mistake of his life wasn't just cheating on his wife. It was underestimating her. The morning of the serving, Natalie woke up before dawn. Tyler snored beside her, completely unaware this was his last day of thinking he'd gotten away with everything. She'd barely slept, adrenaline and anxiety keeping her alert. She made coffee, sitting at the kitchen table in the darkness, watching the sun rise through the window. Gabriel had texted her at 5 a.m., "Today's your day. You've got this. Call me after." At 7, Tyler stumbled into the kitchen, already on his phone. "Morning," he muttered, not looking at her. "Got that big presentation today. Probably won't be home until late." "Okay," Natalie said calmly. Tyler poured coffee, grabbed a banana, and headed for the door. No kiss goodbye. No real acknowledgement she existed. When had it gotten like this? Or had it always been this way and she'd just been too blind to see it? After his car disappeared down the street, Natalie sprang into action. She had 7 hours before the papers were served, 7 hours to complete her strategic exit. Gabriel arrived with his truck and 2 of his friends from the motorcycle club, both surprisingly polite and professional despite their intimidating appearances. "This is Bear and Torch," Gabriel introduced them. "They're here to help you move." "We don't look like much," Bear said with a grin, "but we move furniture like professionals." Gabriel said, "You're getting out of a bad situation. We're honored to help." Natalie had made a list of everything she wanted to take, things that were hers or held sentimental value. Her grandmother's china, her books, her clothes, her computer equipment for work, photographs from before her marriage. The furniture could stay, most of it had been Tyler's anyway. They worked efficiently, loading boxes into the truck. Natalie took one last walk through the house. 5 years of marriage, and what did she have to show for it? Some dishes, some books, some clothes. But she was taking something more important, her self-respect. You okay? Gabriel asked, finding her standing in the bedroom. Yeah. Just saying goodbye. To what? The lies? The betrayal? Good riddance to all of it. Natalie smiled. You're right. Let's go. Gabriel had helped her rent a small apartment across town, nothing fancy but clean and safe. As they unloaded her belongings, Natalie felt lighter than she had in months. This space was hers. No more waiting for Tyler to come home with new lies. No more pretending everything was fine. What time is the serving? Bear asked, checking his watch. 2 p.m., Natalie said. At his office. You going to be there? No. Patricia advised against it. She said it's better if I'm not there for the immediate reaction. Let him process it, then he'll contact my lawyer. Smart, Torch agreed. Let him stew in it. At 1:45, Natalie sat in her new apartment with Gabriel, watching the clock. Patricia had sent a text. Process server is at location. Stand by. How do you think he'll react? Natalie asked. Badly, Gabriel said. Men like Tyler, they think they're smarter than everyone. Finding out his wife was 10 steps ahead of him the whole time? That's going to destroy his ego. At 2:15, Patricia called. It's done. Papers have been served. Tyler was in a meeting with several colleagues when the server arrived. He tried to refuse at first, but the server handled it professionally. Everyone in that conference room now knows Tyler's being served divorce papers. Was Amber there? According to the server, yes. A young woman matching the description you provided was present. She looked shocked. Good, Natalie thought. Let them both be shocked. Let them both feel a fraction of what she'd felt. What happens now? She asked Patricia. Now we wait. Tyler has 30 days to respond. Based on the evidence, I expect him to want to settle rather than go to trial. But we'll see. Some men let their pride make stupid decisions. After hanging up, Natalie felt strange. Not triumphant exactly, but resolved. She'd done it. She'd taken the first major step toward freedom. Her phone started ringing. Tyler. She didn't answer. It rang again. And again. Let it go to voicemail, Gabriel advised. You don't owe him a conversation. Text messages started flooding in. Natalie, what the hell is this? Call me right now. We need to talk about this. This is insane. You can't just leave like this. We have a life together. This is a huge misunderstanding. Gabriel read them over her shoulder and snorted. Misunderstanding. Classic. As if you misunderstood him sleeping with another woman. More calls. More texts. Natalie silenced her phone. Patricia called again. Tyler's attorney just contacted me. He wants to set up a meeting to discuss settlement. Already? That was fast. That's because he knows he has no defense. The evidence is overwhelming. His lawyer probably told him fighting this would be financial suicide. We're meeting tomorrow. I'll call you after. That evening, Natalie sat in her new apartment, boxes still unpacked around her, and ordered takeout. Gabriel had stayed for a few hours but finally headed home, making her promise to call if she needed anything. Her friend Monique called. Girl, where have you been? I stopped by your house and it looks empty. What's going on? Natalie took a deep breath. I left Tyler. I'm divorcing him. Silence. Then, what? When? Why didn't you tell me? It's complicated. Can you come over? I'll explain everything. An hour later, Monique sat on Natalie's new couch, listening to the whole story. The motel, the affair, the financial deception, Gabriel's help, the weeks of planning. I can't believe you went through all this alone, Monique said, tears in her eyes. Why didn't you call me? I needed to keep it quiet. If word got out, Tyler might have found out I knew and hidden more assets. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you. No, I get it. I just wish I could have been there for you. You're here now. That's what matters. Monique hugged her tight. I'm so proud of you. So many women stay in situations like this because they're scared or they don't know how to leave. You did what you needed to do. Over the next few days, more calls and texts came from Tyler, ranging from angry to pleading to confused. Natalie didn't respond to any of them. Patricia handled all communication through lawyers, exactly as planned. A week later, Patricia called with an update. Tyler wants to settle. He's offering you the house, half his retirement account, and 2 years of alimony. What about the business accounts he was hiding? He claims those were for legitimate business purposes. They weren't. We both know that. I know. I told his lawyer if he doesn't include those in the settlement, we're going to trial. And in trial, All those emails to his mistress become public record. All those fraudulent business expenses get examined by the court. His professional reputation will be ruined. 3 days later, Tyler agreed to a full settlement. The house, half of all assets including the hidden accounts, 3 years of alimony, and he'd pay all divorce costs including Natalie's attorney fees. You won, Patricia said simply. Complete victory. Sign these papers and you're done. Natalie signed her name, each stroke of the pen feeling like breaking chains. When she finished, she looked up at Patricia and smiled. I'm free. You're free, Patricia confirmed. And significantly better off financially than you were before. Tyler played games and lost. You played strategically and won. That night, Gabriel took Natalie out to dinner to celebrate. To new beginnings, he said, raising his glass. To new beginnings, Natalie echoed. And to good friends who help you through the worst times. What are you going to do now? Gabriel asked. Honestly, I have no idea. I have my freelance work, I have the house, I have financial security for the first time in years. But beyond that, I need to figure out who Natalie is when she's not someone's wife. That's the best part, Gabriel said. You get to decide. No one else's opinion matters. Just yours. 2 weeks later, the divorce was finalized. Natalie stood in her house, truly her house now, and felt a sense of peace she hadn't known in years. Tyler had moved in with Amber, which Natalie learned through mutual friends. Apparently, Amber wasn't happy about the financial situation Tyler was now in. Turned out she'd been expecting to date a successful VP, not a man paying significant alimony and starting over. Natalie didn't care. Their problems weren't hers anymore. She had her own life to build. And she was just getting started. The divorce papers were finalized 3 weeks after Natalie signed the settlement. 3 weeks of Tyler calling, texting, even showing up at her new apartment once before Gabriel's friends encouraged him to stay away. Natalie had maintained complete silence through it all, letting Patricia handle every communication. But there was one confrontation she'd been waiting for. One moment she needed for herself. Patricia had scheduled a final meeting to transfer property titles and finalize paperwork. Both parties would be present. Natalie had initially said no, she didn't want to see Tyler. But then she changed her mind. She wanted to look him in the eye one last time. She wanted him to see what he'd lost. The morning of the meeting, Natalie stood in front of her mirror, choosing her outfit carefully. Not the comfortable clothes she'd worn throughout their marriage, trying to be the wife Tyler wanted. Not the simple style she'd adopted to avoid standing out. She wore a sharp navy blue suit that fit her perfectly, her natural hair styled confidently, makeup that made her feel powerful. She looked successful, independent, untouchable. She looked like a woman who didn't need anyone to complete her. Gabriel had offered to come with her, but Natalie declined. I need to do this alone, she told him. You sure? I'm sure. But thank you. For everything. Patricia's office was downtown in a sleek modern building. When Natalie walked into the conference room, Tyler was already there with his lawyer. She noticed he'd lost weight, looked tired. Amber wasn't with him. Tyler's eyes widened when he saw her. Natalie. She didn't respond, just took her seat across from him, nodding at Patricia. Let's begin, Patricia said crisply. We have several documents to sign and property to transfer. This should be quick. As they worked through the paperwork, Tyler kept trying to catch Natalie's eye. She ignored him, focusing on the documents, signing where Patricia indicated. Finally, unable to contain himself, Tyler spoke. Natalie, please. Can we just talk for a minute? No, she said simply, not looking at him. I deserve a chance to explain. Now she did look at him. You don't deserve anything from me, Tyler. His lawyer touched his arm, warning him to be quiet, but Tyler shook him off. This is crazy. 8 years of marriage and you throw it away over one mistake. Natalie felt ice in her veins. One mistake. You had an affair for 8 months. You hid money from me. You were planning to leave me with nothing. That's not one mistake. That's systematic betrayal. I never meant to hurt you. Things with Amber, they just happened. Things don't just happen. You made choices. Every day for 8 months, you chose to lie to me, to betray me, to build a life with someone else while I thought we had a future together. Tyler's face reddened. You're making me sound like some kind of monster. I'm not. I just fell in love with someone else. That happens. And instead of being honest with me, instead of ending our marriage with dignity, you snuck around, you lied, you stole money to spend on her. You're right, you're not a monster. You're worse. You're a coward. Natalie, Patricia said quietly, you don't have to engage. But Natalie wasn't done. 8 weeks of silence, 8 weeks of holding everything in, it all came pouring out now. Do you know what the worst part is? She said, her voice steady and cold. It's not even the cheating. It's that you thought I was stupid enough not to figure it out. You thought I'd just sit at home trusting you while you built an exit strategy. You underestimated me. That's what really bothers you, isn't it? That I was smarter than you. Tyler's jaw clenched. You had me followed. You spied on me. I documented your lies. There's a difference. This is vindictive, Natalie. Taking the house, the money, everything. You're trying to destroy me. She laughed, actually laughed. I'm not trying to destroy you, Tyler. I'm just not protecting you anymore. There's a difference. You destroyed yourself the moment you started lying to me. Amber and I love each other. You can't understand that, can you? You can't understand real passion. The words were meant to hurt, but Natalie felt nothing. I understand that real passion seems to be fading now that you're broke and paying alimony. I heard through mutual friends that Amber's not too happy about your new financial situation. Tyler's expression darkened. Don't talk about Amber. Why not? She had no problem being part of our marriage when it benefited her. Now she's unhappy you're not the successful executive she thought you were? Maybe you two deserve each other. That's enough, Tyler's lawyer interjected. Can we please finish the paperwork? They signed the remaining documents in silence. When it was done, Patricia gathered everything efficiently. That's it, she said. The house will be transferred to Ms. Natalie Brooks, using her maiden name as requested, within the week. All financial transfers are complete. This case is closed. Tyler stood up slowly. Natalie, I never wanted it to end like this. Then you shouldn't have cheated, she said simply. Actions have consequences. You're just mad the consequences affected you. I hope you're happy, Tyler said bitterly. I hope taking everything from me makes you feel powerful. Natalie stood, gathering her purse. I don't need your money to feel powerful, Tyler. I feel powerful because I'm free. Free from your lies, your manipulation, your disrespect. The money? That's just compensation for the time I wasted believing in you. She walked out of the conference room without looking back. In the elevator, she felt her hands start to shake. Patricia rode down with her. You did well in there, Patricia said. Very composed. I almost lost it. But you didn't. You said what you needed to say and you maintained your dignity. That's a win. Outside the building, Natalie called Gabriel. It's done. Really done this time. How do you feel? Like I can breathe again. He tried to make me feel guilty, tried to act like I was being vindictive. But I'm not. I'm just protecting myself. That's exactly what you're doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. That evening, Natalie walked through her house now room by room. She'd already started making changes. New paint in the bedroom, new curtains in the living room. Erasing the remnants of a marriage that had been hollow long before she'd discovered the affair. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Amber. We need to talk. Natalie stared at the message for a long moment, then blocked the number without responding. She didn't owe Amber anything. Not her time, not her anger, not even her acknowledgement. Another text came through, this time from Monique. Dinner tomorrow? Bringing wine and good news. Yes, Natalie replied. See you then. Later that week, Natalie learned through mutual friends that Tyler's promotion had been rescinded. The company had decided they didn't want the negative publicity of promoting someone in the middle of such a messy divorce. Tyler had tried to blame Natalie, saying she'd ruined his career out of spite. But the truth was simpler. Tyler had ruined his own career by making his personal life everyone's business. By having an affair with a coworker, by letting it become public spectacle, by being served divorce papers at the office. Those were his choices, not Natalie's. 1 month after the final papers were signed, Natalie received a letter. It was from Tyler, handwritten, pages long. She almost threw it away without reading it, but curiosity got the better of her. The letter was full of apologies, explanations, justifications. Tyler wrote about how he'd been confused, how the affair had been a mistake, how he still cared about her and wished things had gone differently. He wrote about how hard life was now, how Amber had left him, how his career was struggling. He ended the letter with a request. Can we meet for coffee? Just to talk. I miss you, Natalie. I miss what we had. Natalie read the letter twice, then carried it to the fireplace. She lit it on fire and watched it burn, the pages curling and blackening, Tyler's words disappearing into smoke. She didn't miss him. She didn't miss what they'd had because what they'd had was a lie. The real Tyler was the man who'd cheated and lied and tried to steal from her. The man she'd thought she'd married never existed. And she was done mourning someone who was never real. The next morning, Natalie woke up early and went for a run. Something she'd never done during her marriage because Tyler had said she didn't need to exercise. She'd believed him then, trusted that he liked her how she was. Now she ran because it made her feel strong. Because her body was hers and no one else's. Because freedom tasted like the cold morning air in her lungs. When she got home, sweaty and energized, she found Gabriel sitting on her porch with coffee and bagels. "Thought you might need breakfast after your run," he said, grinning. "How did you know I went running?" "Saw you leave. Figured I'd wait. Hope that's okay." "It's okay," Natalie said, sitting beside him. "Thank you." They ate in comfortable silence, watching the neighborhood wake up. Children heading to school, people leaving for work, the ordinary rhythm of life continuing. "You know what I realized?" Natalie said. "I haven't thought about Tyler in 3 days. 3 whole days without him taking up space in my head." "That's how you know you're healing," Gabriel said. "When they stop being your first thought in the morning and your last thought at night." "I'm not there yet. But I'm getting closer." "You'll get there. And when you do, you're going to be unstoppable." Natalie smiled, believing him. For the first time in a long time, she believed in herself too. The confrontation was over. The marriage was over. Tyler was truly in her past. Now came the best part, building her future. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, Natalie sat in her home office, her freelance bookkeeping business thriving in ways it never had during her marriage. Her client list had doubled, word-of-mouth referrals coming in steadily. Turned out, when she wasn't spending emotional energy managing Tyler's lies, she had much more focus for her actual work. Patricia called one afternoon with unexpected news. "Tyler's trying to modify the alimony agreement. He's claiming financial hardship." Natalie felt a flash of anger. "Let me guess. He thinks 3 years of alimony is too much. He's claiming that losing his promotion and the public nature of the divorce has damaged his career to the point where he can't afford the payments." His own actions damaged his career, not the divorce. "Exactly what I told the judge. We have a hearing next week. I need you there." The hearing was in a small courtroom, nothing dramatic like on television. Just a judge, lawyers, and Tyler looking more haggard than Natalie had ever seen him. Tyler's lawyer argued that his client's income had dropped significantly, that he was struggling to make rent, that the alimony was excessive given his current circumstances. Patricia stood up, calm and methodical. "Your Honor, Mr. Tyler Matthews's financial struggles are entirely self-inflicted. He had an affair with a coworker, creating a hostile work environment. He fraudulently reported business expenses. He attempted to hide assets during the divorce. The natural consequences of these actions are not grounds to reduce his legal obligations." She presented documentation showing Tyler's current income was lower because he'd taken a new job rather than staying with his company and working to repair his reputation. He'd made a choice to leave, a choice that reduced his income. "Furthermore," Patricia continued, "Ms. Brooks has every right to the alimony agreed upon. She gave 8 years to a marriage that her husband systematically betrayed. The settlement is not only fair, it's generous to Mr. Matthews considering what we could have pursued in court." The judge reviewed the documents, asked a few questions, then rendered his decision. Motion denied. "Mr. Matthews, the alimony agreement stands as written. Your financial situation is largely a result of your own choices. Ms. Brooks is entitled to the security she was promised." Outside the courthouse, Tyler approached Natalie. She'd been waiting for this, had steeled herself for whatever he might say. "This is cruel, Natalie. You know I can't afford this." "Then maybe you should have thought about that before you cheated," she said evenly. "I'm not your wife anymore, Tyler. Your problems aren't mine to solve. I'm living in a studio apartment. I'm driving a 10-year-old car. I have nothing. And whose fault is that? Not mine. I didn't make you have an affair. I didn't make you hide money. I didn't make you treat our marriage like it meant nothing. You did all of that. These are your consequences. At least Amber left me. At least I learned my lesson. Isn't that enough?" Natalie felt something like pity, but she pushed it down. "Amber leaving you isn't a punishment, Tyler. It's just karma. She was with you while you were married to someone else. Why would she stay when things got hard? She proved who she was. You just didn't want to see it. So that's it? You're just going to watch me struggle? I'm not watching you at all. I'm living my life. You should try doing the same." She walked away, leaving him standing there. Patricia caught up with her at her car. "You handled that well," Patricia said. "I'm tired of him acting like he's the victim. He made his bed. Now he has to lie in it. The legal side is completely finished now, Patricia said. He can't come after you for more modifications. The judge's ruling today was very clear. You're free and clear, Natalie. Free and clear. Natalie drove home letting those words sink in. No more lawyers, no more court dates, no more fighting Tyler over money or property or anything else. She was truly free. That night, Gabriel came over with pizza and beer to celebrate the victory. To the judge seeing through Tyler's nonsense, Gabriel said, raising his bottle. To never having to see him again, Natalie added. So what now? You've got your business growing, you've got financial security, you've got your freedom. What's next? Natalie had been thinking about that a lot lately. I want to help other women. Women going through what I went through. I see posts in online groups all the time, women asking for advice about leaving bad marriages, not knowing where to start. You could teach workshops, Gabriel suggested. Financial planning for divorce. How to document infidelity. Legal rights. You know all of it now. Would people really come to something like that? Are you kidding? You'd probably have to turn people away. There are so many women trapped in bad situations because they don't know how to get out safely. The idea took root in Natalie's mind. She spent the next few weeks researching, planning, reaching out to other divorce attorneys and financial planners. She created a workshop series called Strategic Exit, Financial and Legal Planning for Divorce. The first workshop was scheduled for a community center downtown. Natalie had hoped for maybe 10 or 15 women. Instead, 43 showed up. They ranged in age from their 20s to their 60s, every race and background imaginable. Some were already in the process of divorce. Others were still trying to decide if leaving was the right choice. All of them needed guidance. Natalie stood in front of them, more nervous than she'd been in the courtroom. My name is Natalie Brooks, she began. A year ago, I discovered my husband was cheating on me. I also discovered he'd been hiding money and planning to leave me with nothing. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make sure that doesn't happen to you. She talked for 2 hours about documentation, about financial planning, about legal rights and strategies. She shared her story, leaving nothing out. The affair, the discovery, the strategic exit, the legal victory. The women listened with rapt attention, taking notes, asking questions. At the end, a young woman in her late 20s approached her, tears streaming down her face. Thank you, she said. My husband has been cheating for months and I've been too scared to leave because I don't work and I don't know how I'd support myself. You just gave me a roadmap. You gave me hope. Other women shared similar stories. Abusive marriages, financial control, emotional manipulation. All of them scared to leave, scared of what would happen if they tried. You all have more power than you think, Natalie told them. You just need to be strategic. Smart. Don't let emotion drive your decisions. Document everything, secure your assets, and get a good lawyer. You can do this. Over the next few months, Natalie ran the workshop series twice more, each time with full attendance. She started a private Facebook group for the women, a safe space where they could ask questions and support each other. Patricia referred several clients to her, women who needed help organizing their finances before filing for divorce. Natalie helped them create budgets, identify hidden assets, understand their rights. The work was fulfilling in a way her regular bookkeeping never had been. She wasn't just balancing ledgers anymore. She was changing lives. One afternoon, Monique called with news. Girl, you won't believe what I just heard. Tyler got fired from his new job. What? Why? Apparently he was inappropriate with another female co-worker. They gave him one warning and he didn't stop. So they let him go. Natalie felt a mix of vindication and sadness. He didn't learn anything. He really didn't learn anything from all of this. Some people never do. But that's not your problem anymore. No, Natalie agreed. It's really not. She heard through the grapevine over the following weeks that Tyler had moved to another city, supposedly for a fresh start. Good, she thought. Maybe distance would help him figure himself out. Or maybe it wouldn't. Either way, it wasn't her concern. Her life was full now. Full of work that mattered, friends who supported her, and a growing sense of purpose. She'd helped dozens of women start their strategic exits. Several had already completed their divorces and returned to thank her, to share their own victory stories. You saved my life, one woman told her. I'd been in an abusive marriage for 15 years. I didn't think I could leave. You showed me I could. Those words meant more to Natalie than any amount of alimony ever could. 6 months after her first workshop, Natalie received a call from a local television station. They wanted to do a story about her work, about the workshops and how she was helping women escape bad marriages. I don't know, Natalie told Gabriel. Going public like that, it feels like a lot. It is a lot. But think about how many more women you could reach. Women in other cities, other states who need this information. The interview aired on a Tuesday night. Natalie watched it with Monique and Gabriel, cringing at seeing herself on screen but proud of the message. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Her email inbox filled with messages from women all over the country asking for help, asking when she'd do workshops in their cities, asking for online resources. I can't help everyone, Natalie said, staring at the hundreds of messages. So train others to help, Gabriel suggested. Create a curriculum. Certify other women to teach your workshops. Scale up. It was ambitious, maybe too ambitious. But Natalie was learning that she was capable of more than she'd ever imagined. The legal victory over Tyler had been satisfying, but this, helping other women reclaim their lives, this was the real victory. This was purpose. And it was just the beginning. A year after her divorce was finalized, Natalie stood in front of her bathroom mirror, hardly recognizing the woman staring back at her. She'd cut her hair shorter, a bold style that made her feel confident. She'd started dressing in colors she actually liked rather than the muted tones Tyler had preferred. She'd learned to take up space in the world again. Her business, Strategic Exit Consulting, had grown beyond anything she'd imagined. She now had 3 employees, all women who'd gone through their own difficult divorces and wanted to help others. They ran workshops twice monthly, consulted with divorce attorneys across the state, and had developed an online course that women from around the country were taking. The doorbell rang. Gabriel, punctual as always. Ready for the grand opening? He asked, grinning. Today was the official opening of her new office space, a professional suite in a downtown building. No more working from her dining room table. This was legitimate, serious, real. The office had been Monique's idea. You need a professional space, she'd insisted. Somewhere women can come for consultations without feeling like they're visiting someone's house. The open house that afternoon drew a crowd. Patricia Wu came, as did several other divorce attorneys who'd been referring clients to Natalie. Local business owners, women from her workshops, even a few reporters curious about the woman helping others navigate divorce. This is amazing, Patricia said, looking around the office. A year ago you were sitting in my office signing divorce papers. Now look at you. I couldn't have done any of this without your help, Natalie said honestly. You would have found a way. You're stronger than you ever gave yourself credit for. As the open house wound down, Natalie found herself standing alone in her new office, taking it all in. The desk, the filing cabinets, the framed certificates on the wall, the comfortable chairs for client consultations. This was hers. She built this. Her phone rang. A known number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Is this Natalie Brooks? A man's voice asked. Yes, who's this? My name is Jerome Washington. I'm an architect. Patricia Wu gave me your number. She said you might be able to help my sister. What's going on with your sister? She's in a bad marriage. Her husband's controlling, possibly abusive, definitely cheating. She's scared to leave because of finances. Patricia thought you might be able to consult with her. Of course. Have her call me tomorrow and we'll set up a meeting. Thank you. Patricia spoke very highly of you. Said you were one of the smartest, most capable women she's ever met. Natalie felt herself smile. That's kind of her to say. She also mentioned you're single. There was a pause. I'm sorry that was forward. Patricia thought we might have a lot in common. I went through a difficult divorce myself a few years ago. She thought maybe we could grab coffee sometime? Natalie's immediate instinct was to say no. She wasn't looking for a relationship. She was focused on her business, on helping other women, on herself. But then she remembered what Gabriel had told her months ago. Don't close yourself off completely. When the right person comes along you'll know. And you'll be ready. Coffee sounds nice, Natalie heard herself say. But I should warn you, I'm pretty busy with work. I get that. I'm busy too. Maybe that's why we'd understand each other. They met for coffee the following Saturday at a place downtown. Jerome was handsome in an understated way, tall with kind eyes and an easy smile. He ordered tea instead of coffee, which made Natalie smile. Not a coffee person? She asked. Never developed the taste for it. Tea's more my speed. Less jittery. They talked for 2 hours, the conversation flowing naturally. Jerome told her about his architecture firm, his passion for sustainable design. He told her about his divorce, how his ex-wife had left him for his business partner, taking half his company in the settlement. That must have been devastating, Natalie said. It was. For a while I was angry at everyone. Women, business partners, myself. But eventually I realized the anger was just hurting me. So I let it go, rebuilt the business, and decided to focus on what I could control, being a good person and doing good work. That's a healthy way to look at it. What about you? Patricia said you help women through divorce. That must be emotionally intense. It is. But it's also rewarding. I get to help women realize they're stronger than they think. That they don't have to stay in situations that hurt them. That's important work. My sister's lucky she found you. They exchanged numbers, promising to meet again soon. Natalie drove home feeling something she hadn't felt in a long time. Possibility. Not pressure, not obligation, just gentle possibility. Gabriel called that evening. How was the coffee date? How did you know about that? Monique told me. She's been texting me updates all day. Natalie laughed. It was nice. Really nice. But I'm not rushing into anything. Good. Take your time. But don't close yourself off completely either. You deserve good things, Natalie. Including a good partner. Over the next few months, Natalie and Jerome saw each other regularly. Coffee dates turned into dinner dates. Dinner dates turned into weekend activities, museums and parks and concerts. They took things slowly, both of them cautious after their divorces. Jerome never pushed, never pressured. He respected her boundaries, her need for independence. When she had to cancel dates because of work, he understood. When she needed space to process something, he gave it without complaint. I like him, Monique said one evening. He's different from Tyler. He actually listens when you talk. He is different, Natalie agreed. He treats me like an equal partner, not like someone he has to manage or control. That's how it should be. 5 months into dating, Jerome asked Natalie to meet his family. His parents were hosting a barbecue and he wanted her there. No pressure, he said. But they've heard a lot about you and they'd like to meet the woman I won't stop talking about. Meeting his family was easier than Natalie expected. His mother was warm and welcoming, his father quiet but kind. His sister, the one Natalie had helped through her divorce, hugged her tightly. You saved my life, she whispered. I'll never forget what you did for me. You saved yourself, Natalie corrected gently. I just showed you the tools. That night, as Jerome drove her home, he reached over and took her hand. You okay? He asked. I know meeting families can be overwhelming. I'm good. Your family's wonderful. They like you. My mom pulled me aside and said, and I quote, Don't mess this up, Jerome. She's special. Natalie laughed. No pressure. She's right though. You are special. They were taking things slow, both healing from past relationships, both building new lives. But Natalie could feel something real developing between them. Something honest and healthy. Meanwhile, her business continued to grow. She'd been invited to speak at a women's conference, to write articles for legal journals, to consult with organizations helping domestic violence survivors. Strategic exit consulting was making a real difference. One afternoon, Patricia called with interesting news. Tyler tried to contact me. He wanted to know how to get in touch with you. What did you tell him? That all communication goes through me, and unless it's a legal emergency, you're not interested. Thank you. He's apparently struggling. Lost another job, behind on alimony payments. He asked if you'd consider reducing the amount. No, Natalie said without hesitation. He made an agreement. He needs to honor it. That's what I told him. Just wanted you to know he tried. After hanging up, Natalie felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, not even pity. Tyler was just a person she used to know, someone from her past who had no bearing on her future. That evening, she had dinner with Jerome at her favorite restaurant. He told her about a new project, an affordable housing development he was designing. The goal is to create beautiful, sustainable housing for families who normally couldn't afford it, he said, his face lighting up with passion. Architecture shouldn't just be for the wealthy. Everyone deserves to live somewhere that makes them feel valued. Natalie loved listening to him talk about his work. He cared deeply about making a difference, about using his skills to help people. They had that in common. I was thinking, Jerome said after dinner, maybe we could take a trip together? Nothing big, just a weekend somewhere. There's this architectural conference in Atlanta next month. It's probably boring if you're not into architecture, but Atlanta's a fun city and... I'd love to, Natalie interrupted, smiling. A weekend away sounds perfect. Yeah. I trust you, Jerome. And I'm ready to take that next step. He squeezed her hand across the table. I'm glad. Because I'm falling for you, Natalie. I know it's only been a few months, but I can't help it. You're amazing. I'm falling for you too, she admitted. And that scares me a little. It scares me too. But in a good way. Like jumping off a diving board scared. You know it's going to be fine, but there's still that moment of free fall. That's exactly what it feels like. They walked to Natalie's car, Jerome's arm around her shoulders. The night was clear, stars visible despite the city lights. Thank you, Jerome said. For what? For giving us a chance. For not letting your past with Tyler close you off completely. I know trust is hard after what you went through. It is. But you make it easier. You're patient with me. You respect my boundaries. That means everything. As Natalie drove home that night, she thought about how far she'd come in just over a year. From a woman hiding in motel shadows, watching her marriage crumble, to a successful business owner helping others and finding love again. She'd rebuilt her life from the ground up. And it was better than anything she'd had before. The new beginning she'd been scared to hope for had arrived. And it was just getting started. 18 months after her divorce, Natalie's life looked completely different. Strategic Exit Consulting now occupied a full suite of offices, employed 7 women, and had helped over 300 women navigate their divorces. The online course had students in 42 states and 3 countries. Natalie sat in a television studio, about to be interviewed for a national morning show. The segment was called Helping Women Reclaim Their Power, the Strategic Exit Movement. You nervous? The producer asked, adjusting Natalie's microphone. A little. I'm more comfortable helping one woman at a time than talking to millions on television. Just be yourself. Tell your story. That's what resonates with people. The interview went better than Natalie expected. The host asked thoughtful questions about why women stay in bad marriages, what resources exist for them, how Strategic Exit Consulting was making a difference. What would you say to a woman watching right now who's in an unhappy marriage but scared to leave? The host asked. Natalie looked directly at the camera. I'd say you're stronger than you think you are. I'd say being scared is normal, but being trapped doesn't have to be permanent. And I'd say there are resources and people ready to help you the moment you're ready to help yourself. You don't have to do it alone. The segment aired on a Tuesday morning. By Tuesday afternoon, Natalie's website had crashed from traffic. Her inbox was flooded with thousands of messages. Women thanking her, women asking for help, women sharing their own stories. We're going to need more staff, her office manager said, staring at the flood of consultation requests. Over the next few months, Strategic Exit Consulting expanded again. Natalie hired more consultants, partnered with divorce attorneys in other states, developed new workshops and resources. The business was becoming more than just a consultancy. It was becoming a movement. Patricia called one afternoon with an unusual request. There's a legal aid organization that wants to partner with you. They help low-income women escape abusive marriages, but they don't have the financial planning resources you offer. I'd love to partner with them, Natalie said immediately. Women who can't afford private attorneys need this help even more. They developed a sliding scale fee structure, allowing women with limited resources to access the same strategic planning that wealthier clients received. For some women, Natalie provided services completely free. You're going to go broke doing pro bono work, Monique warned. The business is stable enough now that I can afford to help women who need it most, Natalie said. Money isn't why I'm doing this. Gabriel, who'd become one of Natalie's closest friends, helped in his own way. He'd started offering free motorcycle safety classes specifically for women leaving bad situations. Why motorcycles? Natalie had asked when he first told her about the idea. Because there's something powerful about learning you can handle a machine like that. It builds confidence. Plus, it's practical transportation for women starting over with limited resources. Jerome had been supportive through all the growth, even as his own architecture firm thrived. They'd been dating for nearly a year now, and the relationship had deepened into something Natalie never expected to find again. Genuine partnership. I'm proud of you, Jerome said one evening, cooking dinner in Natalie's kitchen. What you've built, it's incredible. Sometimes I can't believe it's real. A year and a half ago, I was documenting my husband's affair, terrified about my future. Now I'm helping hundreds of other women. You turned your pain into purpose. That takes strength. I had help. Gabriel, Patricia, Monique, you. I couldn't have done any of this alone. Maybe not. But you were the one brave enough to leave. Brave enough to start over. Brave enough to share your story so others could learn from it. Through the grapevine, Natalie heard occasional updates about Tyler. He'd moved to another city after losing his third job in 2 years. Rumors said he'd burned through most of his savings, was behind on alimony payments again, and was generally struggling. Natalie felt no satisfaction in his struggles. She didn't want him to suffer. She just wanted him to be irrelevant to her life, which he mostly was now. One afternoon, a familiar name appeared in her consultation calendar. Amber Patterson. Natalie stared at the name, debating whether to take the meeting or refer Amber to one of her consultants. "What would you do?" she asked Monique. "I'd take the meeting. Hear what she has to say. You don't owe her anything, but maybe there's closure there you didn't know you needed." When Amber walked into Natalie's office the following week, she looked different. Tired, less polished than Natalie remembered from the parking lot and courtroom appearances. She sat down nervously. "Thank you for seeing me," Amber said. "I wasn't sure you would. I almost didn't. But I'm curious why you're here." "I need help leaving my marriage." "You're married?" "Yeah. 6 months ago. Not to Tyler, obviously. To someone I met after things with him fell apart." Natalie kept her expression neutral. "And why are you here specifically?" "There are other consultants." Amber looked down at her hands. "Because I need to understand how you did it. How you left with your dignity intact. How you rebuilt your life. I'm in a situation now that feels a lot like what you must have experienced, and I don't know how to get out." "What's going on in your marriage?" The story Amber told was depressingly familiar. Her husband was controlling, possibly cheating, definitely hiding money. She'd married him too quickly, not knowing who he really was. Now she felt trapped. "I know I don't deserve your help," Amber said. "I know what I did was wrong. Being with Tyler while he was married to you, I don't have excuses. I was selfish and cruel and I'm sorry." Natalie studied her for a long moment. "Did you know Tyler was married when you started the affair?" "Yes. He told me he was leaving you, that the marriage was already over. I believed him because I wanted to believe him. And now you understand what I felt. What I went through." "Yes. And I'm so sorry. I'm genuinely sorry for the pain I caused you." Natalie took a deep breath. She could turn Amber away. She could refuse to help the woman who'd been part of destroying her marriage. But looking at Amber now, scared and trapped like Natalie had been, she couldn't do it. "I'll help you," Natalie said. "Not because you deserve it. Not because what you did is forgiven. But because no woman deserves to be trapped in a bad marriage, not even you." "Thank you," Amber whispered, tears streaming down her face. "But I have conditions. You don't get to talk about Tyler, you don't get to justify what you did, and you don't get to ask for my friendship. This is professional help, nothing more." "Understood." "Understood." Over the next few months, Natalie helped Amber plan her strategic exit. It was strange, helping the woman who'd been part of her own nightmare, but Natalie found she could separate her personal feelings from her professional work. Amber's husband was worse than Tyler had been. More controlling, more manipulative. Natalie worked with Amber's attorney to document everything, secure assets, and plan the exit carefully. When Amber's divorce was finalized, she came to thank Natalie one last time. "You didn't have to help me," Amber said. "Most people wouldn't have." "No," Natalie agreed. "Most people wouldn't have. But I don't want to be like most people. I want to be someone who helps, even when it's hard. Tyler didn't deserve you. I see that now. And you deserve better than Tyler too. We both did. I hope you've learned something from all of this." "I have. About myself, about relationships, about consequences. I'm not proud of who I was. But I'm trying to be better." After Amber left, Natalie sat in her office feeling strangely at peace. She'd helped the woman who'd been part of breaking her marriage. And in doing so, she'd proven to herself that she truly moved on. She no longer carried anger or resentment. She genuinely healed. That evening, Jerome took her to a nice restaurant to celebrate a milestone. Strategic Exit Consulting had helped its 500th client. "To 500 women who found their strength," Jerome said, raising his glass. "To finding strength, finding freedom, and finding yourself," Natalie added. As they ate, Jerome seemed nervous about something. Finally, he set down his fork and took her hand. "I have something I want to talk to you about," he said. "Okay. We've been together a year. The best year of my life, honestly. You're brilliant and passionate and kind, even to people who don't deserve it. You make me want to be better." "Jerome, where is this going?" He smiled. "Relax. I'm not proposing. I know we're both taking things at our own pace. But I am asking if you'd consider moving in together. My lease is up in 2 months and I spend most nights at your place anyway. It feels like the next natural step." Natalie felt her heart race. Living together. Big step. A commitment. But looking at Jerome, at his honest face and kind eyes, she didn't feel scared. She felt ready. I'd like that, she said. I'd really like that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it. Jerome grinned, his whole face lighting up. You've made me so happy. You know that. You've made me happy too. Happier than I ever thought I could be again. That night, driving home, Natalie thought about the journey she'd been on. From the motel parking lot where Gabriel had saved her, to this moment where she was planning a future with someone who truly valued her. She'd helped 500 women find their way out of bad situations. She'd built a successful business. She'd healed from betrayal and found love again. Tyler had tried to destroy her. Instead, he'd freed her to become someone even stronger. And the best part? She was just getting started. Success wasn't just about the business or the money or the recognition. Success was waking up every morning and feeling genuinely happy. Success was helping others. Success was building a life that felt true and right in hers. She'd achieved all of that and more. And she wasn't looking back. Moving in with Jerome felt surprisingly natural. They'd taken their time, no rushing, no pressure, just two people building something real together. Jerome's approach to their relationship was nothing like Tyler's had been. There were no games, no hidden agendas, just honest communication and genuine respect. I was thinking, Jerome said one Saturday morning as they unpacked boxes in their new place, a beautiful loft with huge windows, we should establish ground rules. Ground rules? Natalie raised an eyebrow. Yeah. Like, my terrible habit of leaving coffee cups everywhere. Your thing about needing quiet time after work to decompress. Let's be upfront about our quirks before they become problems. They spent an hour talking through expectations, boundaries, and preferences. It was the most adult relationship conversation Natalie had ever had. Tyler and I never did this, she admitted. We just assumed we'd figure everything out as we went. Then resentments built up because neither of us communicated what we actually needed. I don't want to make that mistake, Jerome said. You're too important to me. The loft became theirs quickly. Jerome's modern furniture mixed with Natalie's cozy touches. His architectural drawings on the walls alongside her family photos. Two lives blending into something new and better. Gabriel visited one afternoon, bringing a housewarming gift. A beautiful wooden sign he'd carved himself that said, "Home is where you choose to be." That's profound, Natalie said, admiring the craftsmanship. It's true though, isn't it? Home isn't about the building or the location. It's about the choice to be present with people who matter. Jerome made dinner that evening, and the three of them sat on the balcony watching the sunset. Natalie looked at these two men, both of whom had helped her rebuild her life in different ways, and felt overwhelmed with gratitude. You okay? Jerome asked, noticing her expression. More than okay. I'm just thinking about how different my life is now. 2 years ago, I was trapped in a marriage to someone who didn't value me. Now I'm here with you running a successful business, actually happy. You earned this happiness, Gabriel said. Every bit of it. Strategic Exit Consulting continued to grow. Natalie had started training other women to run workshops in their own cities, creating a network of consultants across the country. The model was working, helping more women than Natalie could reach on her own. One of her new consultants was a woman named Diane who'd gone through a particularly difficult divorce 3 years earlier. She was smart, compassionate, and had a gift for helping other women see their own strength. I want to pay this forward, Diane had said during her interview. You helped me when I had nothing. Now I want to help others the way you helped me. Watching other women carry the mission forward was more fulfilling than Natalie had imagined. Strategic Exit wasn't just about her anymore. It was a movement, a community, a support system for women who needed it most. Jerome supported her work completely, never complaining when she worked late or had emergency calls from clients in crisis. He understood that this wasn't just a job for her. It was her purpose. You're changing lives, he told her one night after a particularly long day. That matters more than dinner being ready on time or the laundry being done. I can handle the daily stuff. You focus on the important work. I appreciate you so much, Natalie said, pulling him close. You're nothing like I expected to find. What did you expect? I don't know. Maybe I expected to be alone for a long time. Maybe forever. After Tyler, I didn't trust my judgment about men. I was scared I'd choose wrong again. And now I know I chose right. You're kind and honest and you treat me like an equal partner. That's what I deserve. What I should have demanded from the beginning. 6 months after moving in together, Jerome suggested a weekend trip to the mountains. Just us, no work, no phones except for emergencies. I want uninterrupted time with you. They rented a cabin by a lake, spending their days hiking and their evenings by the fire. It was peaceful in a way Natalie hadn't experienced in years. On their last evening there, Jerome pulled out a small box. Natalie's heart jumped. "Before you panic," Jerome said, smiling, "this isn't what you think. Or maybe it is, depending on what you're thinking." He opened the box to reveal a beautiful silver bracelet with a compass charm. "I know you're not ready for marriage," Jerome said. "And honestly, neither am I. We both need more time to heal, to be sure. But I wanted to give you something that represents what you mean to me. It's beautiful." "What does the compass symbolize?" "You found your way out of a bad situation. You've helped hundreds of other women find their way. You're a compass for people who are lost. And you've become my compass too, showing me what a healthy relationship looks like." Natalie felt tears in her eyes as Jerome fastened the bracelet around her wrist. "I love it. And I love you. I love you too. And whenever you're ready, if you're ever ready, I'll be here. No pressure, no timeline, just us figuring this out together." That night, lying in Jerome's arms by the fire, Natalie felt something she'd never felt with Tyler: complete safety. Emotional safety, physical safety, the safety that comes from being with someone who genuinely cares about your well-being. "Thank you for being patient with me," she said quietly. "Thank you for letting me in," Jerome replied. "I know trust is hard after what you went through. The fact that you're willing to try with me, that means everything." Back in the city, life continued its steady rhythm. Strategic Exit helped more women. Jerome's architecture firm won a prestigious award for sustainable design. They hosted dinner parties for friends, traveled when they could, built a life that felt authentic and right. Natalie heard through old friends that Tyler had filed for bankruptcy. He'd accumulated significant debt, lost several jobs, and was struggling to make alimony payments. The court had garnished his wages. "Do you feel bad for him?" Monique asked when she shared the news. "No," Natalie said honestly. "I don't feel bad, but I don't feel good either. I just feel nothing. He's not my problem anymore. He's just someone I used to know." "That's growth, girl. That's real growth." One afternoon, Natalie received a letter from an unexpected source: Tyler's mother. She opened it carefully, unsure what to expect. The letter was an apology. Tyler's mother wrote about how she'd failed to raise her son with the values he should have had, how she was ashamed of his behavior, how she hoped Natalie had found happiness. "I always liked you," the letter said. "You were too good for my son. I hope you know that now. I hope you've moved on and found someone worthy of you." Natalie showed the letter to Jerome that evening. "Are you going to respond?" he asked. "I don't think so. There's nothing to say. His mother's guilt isn't mine to absolve. But it's nice that she recognizes what happened wasn't okay." "You're handling all of this with so much grace," Jerome observed. "I don't know if I could be this calm about my ex. It's taken time. And work. And therapy, honestly. But I've learned that holding on to anger only hurts me. Letting go doesn't mean what Tyler did was okay. It just means I'm not carrying it anymore." A year into living together, Jerome proposed they take a vacation, just the two of them, somewhere neither of them had been before. They chose Barcelona, Spain, spending 2 weeks exploring architecture, eating incredible food, and enjoying each other's company. One evening, standing on a rooftop overlooking the city, Jerome took Natalie's hand. "I need to tell you something," he said. "Okay. When we first met, I was guarded. I didn't want to get hurt again. I thought maybe I'd just stay single, focus on work, avoid the risk of another bad relationship. I felt the same way. But you changed that. You showed me what a healthy relationship looks like, what real partnership means. And I want you to know that no matter what the future holds, you've already given me something invaluable: the ability to trust again." "You've given me the same thing," Natalie said. "The ability to believe that good men exist. That I'm worthy of being treated well. That love doesn't have to hurt." They kissed as the sun set over Barcelona, two people who'd been broken finding healing in each other. The unexpected romance had become the foundation of something lasting. Not rushed, not desperate, just steady and real. And for Natalie, that was the best kind of love story there was. 2 years after her divorce, Natalie stood in front of a crowd of 500 women at a national conference. She was the keynote speaker, invited to talk about strategic exit consulting and the movement it had become. "When I discovered my husband cheating," she began, "I thought my life was over. I thought I'd lost everything. I was wrong. I'd lost a man who didn't deserve me. What I gained was immeasurably more valuable: myself." The audience erupted in applause. Natalie smiled, feeling the energy in the room. Today, Strategic Exit Consulting has offices in 12 cities. We've helped over 2,000 women navigate divorces safely and strategically. But more than that, we've helped them remember their own strength. We've helped them rebuild. And we've shown them that the end of a bad marriage isn't the end of their story. It's the beginning of a better one. After the keynote, dozens of women approached her, sharing their stories, thanking her for the work she'd done. Each conversation reminded Natalie why she'd started this in the first place. Later that evening, Jerome met her at the hotel. He'd come to surprise her, showing up with flowers and a proud smile. "You were incredible up there," he said, kissing her. "I'm so proud of you. Thank you for coming. It means everything having you here." They had dinner at a rooftop restaurant, talking about the conference, about Jerome's latest project designing a community center, about their plans for the future. "I've been thinking," Jerome said, his tone becoming serious. "About us, about our future." "Okay." Natalie's heart rate increased slightly. "We've been together almost 2 years. We're living together, building a life together. I love you more than I thought I could love anyone. And I want you to know that when you're ready, whenever that is, I want to marry you." "Jerome." "Wait, let me finish. I'm not proposing right now. I know you need time. I know marriage is complicated after what you went through. But I wanted you to know where my heart is. That I'm committed to you, to us, for as long as you'll have me." Natalie felt tears forming. "I love you too. So much. And I think I'm almost ready. Not quite yet, but almost." "That's okay. I'll wait. However long it takes." They held hands across the table, two people who'd both been broken finding wholeness together. Strategic Exit Consulting continued to expand. Natalie had written a book about her experiences and the lessons she'd learned, which became a bestseller. The increased visibility brought even more women seeking help. She hired additional staff, opened more offices, developed new programs. One initiative she was particularly proud of was a scholarship program that provided free services to women escaping domestic violence. "We're making a real difference," Diane, her right-hand consultant, said during a staff meeting. "The numbers show it. Women who use our services are twice as likely to maintain financial stability post-divorce compared to those who don't." Gabriel attended Natalie's book launch party, beaming with pride. "Look at what you've built," he said, gesturing around the crowded bookstore. "That woman hiding in a motel parking lot 2 years ago, she'd never believe this is where she'd end up." "I couldn't have done any of it without you," Natalie said. "You saved my life that night. Literally and figuratively. I just pointed you in the right direction. You did all the hard work. Still, I'll always be grateful." Through occasional social media posts from mutual friends, Natalie learned that Tyler had moved to another state and was working a regular job. He'd apparently stopped trying to fight the alimony and was paying it consistently now. He'd also started therapy, according to one friend. "Do you think people can change?" Monique asked when sharing this news. "I think some people can," Natalie said, "if they're willing to do the work. But that's Tyler's journey now, not mine." One evening, Natalie received an unexpected call. It was from Amber. "I hope it's okay that I'm calling," Amber said. "I wanted you to know I got a job. A good job, working for a nonprofit that helps women rebuild after divorce. I'm using what I learned from you to help others." "That's good, Amber. Really good. I also wanted to say thank you. Again. You didn't have to help me, but you did. You showed me what it means to be a good person even when someone doesn't deserve it. I'm trying to live that way now. I hope it works out for you. And Natalie, I'm sorry. For everything. I know I've said it before, but I need to say it again. What I did to you was unforgivable. I'm working on being someone better now. I appreciate that. Good luck, Amber." After hanging up, Natalie felt a sense of closure she hadn't expected. Amber was taking accountability. She was trying to make amends by helping others. That was about as good as redemption got. 6 months after the conference, on a quiet Sunday morning at home, Jerome made breakfast while Natalie reviewed consultation requests from the week. It was domestic and peaceful, exactly what she'd always wanted. "I have something for you," Jerome said, pulling a folder from his briefcase. "What's this?" "Plans for a house. I designed it. For us." Natalie opened the folder to find detailed architectural drawings of a beautiful modern home with huge windows, an open floor plan, and a dedicated office space for her consulting work. "You designed a house for us?" "I did. No pressure, it's just a concept. But I wanted you to see what our future could look like. If you want it." Natalie studied the drawings, seeing Jerome's vision of their life together. A home office where she could work. A workshop where he could create. Spaces that were theirs, built intentionally for the life they wanted to share. It's beautiful, she said quietly. It's perfect. So we could build it? Someday? Yes, Natalie said looking up at him. Someday soon. I think I'm ready. Ready for what? Ready for all of it. The house, the future, maybe even marriage. I've healed, Jerome. Really healed. And I want to build something lasting with you. Jerome pulled her close, his smile brighter than she'd ever seen it. You've just made me the happiest man alive. That evening, surrounded by friends and family, Jerome formally proposed. It wasn't a surprise by that point, but it was perfect. Simple and honest, just like their relationship. Natalie Brooks, Jerome said on one knee in Natalie's living room, will you marry me? Not because you need me, but because you want to build a life with me? Because we make each other better? Yes, Natalie said without hesitation. Absolutely yes. The celebration that followed was joyful and loud. Gabriel gave a toast about how far Natalie had come. Monique cried happy tears. Patricia Wu, who'd become a good friend beyond just being Natalie's lawyer, congratulated them both. Planning the wedding was nothing like planning her marriage to Tyler had been. This time, Natalie knew exactly what she wanted. Small, intimate, focused on the commitment rather than the spectacle. They married 6 months later in a simple ceremony at a botanical garden. Natalie wore a dress she loved, her natural hair styled beautifully. Jerome couldn't stop smiling. Their vows were promises they both intended to keep. I promise to respect you, to trust you, to be your partner in all things, Natalie said. I promise to communicate honestly, to work through problems together, to never take you for granted. I promise to support your dreams, to celebrate your successes, to be there during challenges, Jerome responded. I promise to be the man you deserve every single day. When they kissed as husband and wife, Natalie felt nothing but pure joy. This was what marriage should be. This was what love should feel like. At the reception, Gabriel approached Natalie with a gift. I wanted to give you this, he said, handing her a small wooden box. Inside was a compass, similar to the charm on her bracelet but carved from wood. So you never forget how far you've come, Gabriel said. And so you always remember you have the power to find your way. Thank you, Natalie said, hugging him tightly. For everything. From that night in the parking lot to right now. Thank you. You did the hard work. I just pointed you in the right direction. 3 years after her divorce, Natalie's life was unrecognizable from what it had been. She'd built a successful business that was changing lives. She'd written a best-selling book. She'd found real love with a good man. She'd healed completely from the trauma of Tyler's betrayal. Strategic Exit Consulting had become a national organization with offices in 25 cities. They'd helped over 5,000 women navigate divorces. The impact was measurable and real. One afternoon, Natalie received an email from a woman she'd helped 3 years earlier, during the early days of Strategic Exit. I wanted you to know I just graduated law school, the email said. I'm going to specialize in family law, helping women like you helped me. You changed my life, and now I'm going to pay that forward. Thank you for showing me I could rebuild. Emails like that reminded Natalie why the work mattered. Each woman who found her strength, who rebuilt her life, who went on to help others, that was the real success. That was the transformation that mattered. Tyler had tried to destroy her. Instead, he'd freed her to become the woman she was always meant to be. Standing in the home she shared with Jerome, looking at the life they'd built together, Natalie felt complete peace. Not because everything was perfect, but because she'd learned the most important lesson. Her happiness wasn't dependent on someone else. She could create it herself. The end of her marriage to Tyler hadn't been the end of her story. It had been the beginning of her best chapter. And that, Natalie realized, was the greatest revenge of all. Not hurting Tyler. Not watching him struggle. But building a life so full and rich and meaningful that he became nothing more than a footnote in her history. She'd won. Not through cruelty or vindictiveness, but through living well, helping others, and finding genuine happiness. Tyler would always be the man who'd cheated and lied. But Natalie? She would be the woman who'd turned her pain into purpose, who'd helped thousands of others, who'd found real love, who'd built something lasting. She transformed completely. From victim to victor. From broken to whole. From afraid to fearless. And she was just getting started. Because the best part of transformation is that it never really ends. There are always new heights to reach, new ways to grow, new lives to impact. Natalie Brooks had found her purpose. She'd found her strength. She'd found herself. And that was the happiest ending anyone could ask for.